A boy named Ryuichi goes to Morinomiya Academy with his baby brother Kotaro to meet the school's chairwoman. Ryuichi's parents had died in a plane crash, which also had the chairwoman's son and daughter-in-law on board. Ryuichi reaches her office and thinks he has to make a good first impression on her, but when they enter the room, the chairwoman is already in a bad mood as she has been waiting a long time for them to arrive. Ryuichi introduces himself and his brother, but the chairwoman interrupts him, saying that she isn't just going to take them in to be her new sons. She had heard that Ryuichi has been taking care of his brother and asks him if he knows how to change diapers and take care of little kids. Ryuichi says that she is correct, so the woman tells him that she will take off their needs, but in return, Ryuichi has to spend all the time he isn't in class helping the school's daycare. She now asks for Secretary Seikoa to take him to the daycare, who jokes about giving Ryuichi a piggyback ride. As they go towards the daycare, Ryuichi asks Seikoa if the chairwoman has grandchildren, but he tells her no. He says that the daycare was made to lessen the burden on the female staff of the school, but due to the lack of funding, the daycare is struggling. The chairwoman's son and daughter-in-law tried to form a babysitting club to recruit students to care of the babies, but nobody wanted to join this club. Seikoa apologizes to Ryuichi for imposing this on him, but Ryuichi says he will do whatever he can to help and asks Seikoa to tell the chairwoman that he is thankful for what she is doing for him and his brother. Seikoa removes his glasses and wipes the tears from his eyes as he is very moved by how noble Ryuichi is. Ryuichi enters the daycare and introduces himself to all the kids and asks them about their caregiver. All the kids run behind a sleeping man and wake him up, who introduces himself as Yuseda. He's a graduate of this school and is the only daycare member. The kids hold Yuseda's leg, saying they want to play with Ryuichi and Kotaro, but Yuseda tells them they can only do so after introducing themselves. One of the kids named Taka approaches Kotaro and says that he's the monster in their game, so all the other kids get ready to beat him, but Ryuichi says that he wants to be the monster so that he can protect his brother. The kids attack Ryuichi, and seeing this, Kotaro tries to save his brother but can't do anything. Ryuichi tells Kotaro to play by himself, so he goes to the corner of the room and grabs a book. Yuseda offers to read the book to Kotaro, but he shakes his head as he wants his brother to read it. But Yuseda says that he has to call for him if he wants his attention. Yuseda leaves as his shift ends and asks for Ryuichi to take care of the kids until their mothers arrive. Yuseda asks him if he can do this all by himself, and Ryuichi says that he can handle it, but Yuseda thinks that he would have stayed if Ryuichi asked him to do so. The mothers now arrive and Ryuichi introduces himself as they don't know who he is. Taka is now the only one left in the daycare, and his brother Kamitani arrives to take him away. Ryuichi again introduces himself and says that he is in the 3rd year of middle school. Kamitani says that he is also in the 3rd year, which means they will be in the same class. Kamitani tells Taka it's time to go home, but Taka says that he wants to play some more with Ryuichi, so Kamitani hits him on the head, making Taka cry. Ryuichi says that he shouldn't have hit Taka, but Kamitani says he wouldn't come with him otherwise and tells Ryuichi to take care of his brother as he looks lonely. After they leave, Ryuichi approaches Kotaro and realizes that he is suffering from a fever, so he catches up to Kamitani and asks him to show him to the nearest hospital. The doctor tells Ryuichi that Kotaro is suffering from a fever due to a change in environment, but it's nothing serious, so he should be fine. Ryuichi calls his parents to tell them about Kotaro's fever, but breaks down in tears as he realizes that his parents are dead. The chairwoman arrives and says it's good that Ryuichi is finally crying because at the funerals of the plane crash victims, she, Ryuichi, and Kotaro were the only ones who weren't crying. She tells him that those who have died will never come back, but doesn't mean he has to live alone in this world. Ryuichi returns to the hospital, where Kotaro is crying and asking for Ryuichi. Ryuichi carries him, saying that he should have called for him sooner, and also starts crying, thinking if Kotaro knows that he isn't going to see his parents again. He realizes how he was ignoring Kotaro all day and knows that he has to do better as Kotaro is the only one he has left, and he has to do his best to protect him. At night, the chairwoman puts Ryuichi and Kotaro to bed, and when she leaves, Ryuichi tears up, realizing that the chairwoman is right and that no one is truly alone in this world. The next morning, the chairwoman asks Seikoa to get rid of some flowers she finds on her desk, but when he tells her that Ryuichi was the one who sent these, she decides to keep them. At the daycare, Ryuichi tells Yuseda how Kotaro got ill. Meanwhile, the other kids in the daycare start becoming friends with Kotaro. Ryuichi wakes up as Kotaro climbs on him, after which the chairwoman comes into their room, telling Ryuichi to get out of bed and get ready for school. She says that the one thing she hates is wasting time, so he should hurry up, eat his breakfast, grab the lunch Seikoa has prepared for him, and go to school. As he gets up, Ryuichi says he will just wear his old uniform as he only has a few months left in middle school, but the chairwoman has prepared a new uniform for him. Ryuichi reaches the school and leaves Kotaro in the daycare, telling him to wake Yuseda up if he needs anything. Ryuichi goes toward his class but sees that everyone is laughing at him. He runs into Kamitani and asks why everyone is laughing when Kamitani tells him that the kids from the daycare are following him. Kamitani hits his little brother Taka, who is also following Ryuichi, telling him to go back to the daycare, which makes Taka cry as he runs away but bumps into a girl named Inamata. Ryuichi apologizes to her, but she tells him that just saying sorry isn't enough and that he should take them back to the daycare. the other students start whispering to each other about how cruel Inamata was to Ryuichi. Ryuichi, with the help of Kamitani, rounds up all the kids and puts them in the daycare, where Kamitani hits Yuseda to wake him up. As Ryuichi is about to leave, Inamata arrives as she was asked by Taka's mother, a teacher in the school, to give Taka his lunch. As she is about to leave, Yuzeda's stomach starts acting up and he asks Kamitani to take him to the nurse's office while telling Inamata and Ryuichi to take care of the kids until he gets back. Ryuichi tells Inamata that she can go back if she wants to, but she says that Yuseda asked her to take care of the kids so she will complete her duty. All the kids, however, are afraid of her, as she had yelled at them before. Seeing Ryuichi hold the baby, Inamata offers to hold her and starts blushing, saying that she isn't saying this just because she wants to hold the baby. Due to Inamata's loud talking, the baby wakes up and starts crying while the other kids say that Inamata is a villain. She says that Ryuichi must have a hard time caring for the kids, but he says it's very fun for him and his brother. Seeing Ryuichi smile, Inamata starts crying as all the kids hate her and says that the only thing she does is study, due to which she has now become alone. The kids tell Inamata to stop crying and apologize for their behavior, but she keeps crying as she hugs all the kids. Kamitani arrives and tells Ryuichi that Yuseda was just faking his illness. Seeing Inamata sleeping with the kids, Kamitani asks Ryuichi if they should wake her up, but they decide to let her sleep. Ryuichi now sees that Kotaro is very sad when one of the kids, Karen, tells him that Taka told Kotaro that he is dumb because he is wearing a tiger shirt when he hasn't even seen one. Kamitani hits Taka's head for his remarks, which makes him cry, and he says that Kamitani must hate him. Kamitani says that he doesn't like or hate him, which makes Taka think he really hates him. Ryuichi asks Kamitani why he said such a horrible thing to Taka when Kamitani says that the brothers' relationship is beyond loving or hating. Ryuichi now tells Kotaro that they will go to the zoo, and the other kids saying that they also want to go. Yuseda says they will make a field trip, and he will also go with them as he will get paid extra for working on the weekends. During dinner, Ryuichi asks the chairwoman's permission to go on the field trip and tells her that Yuseda said he wants to be paid for working on the trip, but the chairwoman says why she would pay him when all the kids' mothers are also going. She asks Ryuichi if he is forgetting something, so he asks her if she also wants to come, but she tells him that's not what she meant. The next morning, Seikowa prepares lunch for everyone and gives some money to Ryuichi given by the chairwoman. They reach the zoo, where Kamitani leaves Taka alone with everyone because their mother couldn't make it, and he has club activities to do. He was planning to ditch the club practice, but Taka doesn't want him to come along. Ryuichi now offers to pay Yuseda for the money that the chairwoman gave him, but Yuseda refuses and says that he will make money by taking pictures of the kids and selling them to their fathers, who couldn't make it today. They enjoy seeing the animals in the zoo, after which they eat the lunch Seikowa prepared. Afterward, as they go to the gift shop, Taka gets lost chasing a strange man he thought was his brother. He starts crying when Kamitani arrives, telling him that a real man should never cry. They now go toward their home, and Ryuichi says he is happy that Kamitani came here because Taka was getting lonely without him. Meanwhile, in his sleep, Taka calls Kamitani stupid, but also says he loves him. In the daycare, Yuseda gathers all the children and asks if any of their mothers have given them anything for him because it's Valentine's Day and he is expecting chocolates, but they have nothing. Meanwhile, in Ryuichi's class, his friends ask if any girl has given him chocolate, but he tells them no. On the other hand, a girl approaches Kamitani to give him chocolate, but he rejects her, saying that he hates chocolate. In Class A, also known as the gifted class, a boy named Yaji is famous and is getting all the girls' attention. Giving chocolates is banned in the school on Valentine's Day, so Inamata, who is also in the same class, tells everyone to follow the rules. Yaji says she is right and asks all the girls to wait until they are off campus to give him chocolates. He now asks Inamata how to join the babysitter club as he had seen her in the daycare, but she says she doesn't know and leaves the class. Inamata thinks about how she sucks the fun out of everything, due to which she can't join the babysitter club because she fears that all the children will hate her. Yaji goes to the daycare asking to join the club, and Ryuichi welcomes him with open arms as he gets along really well with all the kids. Meanwhile, Inamata hears that Yaji hates children and is joining the club to impress girls, so she rushes to the daycare only to see Yaji poking Kotaro's cheek while having a nosebleed. Yaji's friend Nezu arrives and takes him away, saying he loves kids too much so he shouldn't join the club. Yaji agrees with him, saying he will only burden them if he joins but asks to play with the kids occasionally. The children ask Inamata for chocolate, but she tells them no as it is forbidden on school grounds for today, but promises to bring some for them tomorrow. The next morning, as Ryuichi is attending his gym class, Yuseda brings all the kids to him. One of the kids, Takuma, goes too far away and is picked up by a mysterious person, so Kamitani hits him with his shoe. Ryuichi asks Takuma if he knows this person, and he reveals that he is his and his brother Kazuma's father. They take the man to the daycare, asking him why he was dressed so suspiciously, when Yuseda tells them he is a famous actor named Kosuke. Kosuke tells them that this is his first day off in 6 months, so he wanted to spend his day with his kids, but they keep crying when he tries to play with them. Ryuichi tries to help him get on the kids' good side, but Kazuma and Takuma don't seem to like him. Kosu leaves, seeing they are happier playing with everyone in the daycare, but as he is about to exit the school, all the girls surround him after he gets recognized. He hears Kazuma and Takuma's voices telling him not to go, so he tries to get to them but can't do so because of the crowd surrounding him. His wife arrives, who is a teacher in the school, and tells everyone to go to their class. Otherwise, they will be held back for 1 year. She tells Kozu that Kazuma and Takuma might not want to be with him because she shows them his movies, with the last one being one in which he is a kidnapper. Takuma and Kazuma now ask him to play with them, which makes him tear up as he gives them a hug. Ryuichi is now starting high school and thinks about how everyone has to select a club. He is still in the babysitter club and wants to recruit other people, so he makes a flyer to put on the high school board, but it's already filled up. He goes to the daycare where Yuseda, seeing his flyer, says that they should take a walk with the kids throughout the high school, hoping that someone will join their club. First, they go to Kirin's mom club, the makeup club. As they enter, all the kids get scared as Kirin's mom is wearing scary makeup. The kids now smell sweets and run towards it. Meanwhile, Yuseda is getting makeup done on him. The kids get to the cooking club, where its members tell them that the sweets will take some time to get ready, so they can't give anything to them. Inomata is also in this club, and when Ryuichi arrives looking for the kids, she scolds him for letting them roam around freely. Seeing her scolding Ryuichi, the kids and the club members get scared, and they say that they thought Inomata was a quiet person, but realize she has a different side as well. Ryuichi takes all the kids out, but Taka throws a tantrum, saying he wants to eat sweets, so to calm him down, Ryuichi takes him to see his brother in the baseball club. Kamitani looks at Taka and ignores him, which makes Taka cry, so Kamitani comes and hits him, telling him to stop crying. Kamitani returns to his club activities while Ryuichi gets sad, seeing how everyone is having fun in their clubs. He asks Yuseda to go without him as he will try to find a place to put up his flyer. He asks Kotaro if he wants to come with him, but he shakes his head, which makes Ryuichi think that Kotaro is doing better without him than he thought. He manages to put up the flyer when Kamitani arrives and says he wants to join the babysitter club. Kamitani reveals that Kotaro was the one who forced him into joining this club as he kept tugging on his leg to go to Ryuichi. All the other kids arrive with sweets and offer to give them to Ryuichi so he will stop being sad. Ryuichi says that he is now feeling better and that they should all eat the sweets together. At home, the chairwoman comes into Ryuichi's room to wake him, but she sees that he has caught a cold, so she takes Kotaro away from him and tells Ryuichi to rest. She tells Kotaro that they have to work hard so that Ryuichi can get better, so she gives him a lemon to squeeze its juice into a cup, which she will use to make medicine for Ryuichi. Kotaro tries to do so but can't get a drop of lemon juice to fall, so the chairwoman asks him if she should do it herself, but Kotaro shakes her head. He finally gets 1 drop of lemon juice, which makes his eyes sparkle as he shows it to the chairwoman. She applauds him but tells him to keep doing so until the bottom of the cup is filled. After a while, Kotaro manages to complete his goal, but as he is about to show it to the chairwoman, he spills all the juice. She gives him another lemon and he starts squeezing it again, making the chairwoman think that Kotaro is a very determined kid. Meanwhile, Ryuichi is having a dream about his parents going on the plane where they died, but this time they also take Kotaro with them. Ryuichi opens his eyes with tears flowing out of his eyes and sees Kotaro sitting beside him, wiping away his tears. The chairwoman gives Ryuichi the medicine she prepared with the help of Kotaro and asks Ryuichi to drink it and then eat something. She takes Kotaro back from Ryuichi, which makes him sad as he thought drinking the medicine would make Ryuichi better immediately. Solitary, the mother of Midori, the smallest baby in the daycare, leaves her with Ryuichi, who starts changing her diaper, but she crawls away before he is finished. A student named Inui arrives, but he is disgusted by the smell coming from the daycare as he asks Ryuichi to get rid of the smell. Afterward, Ryuichi asks him what he is doing here, to which Inui replies that wanted to see his future daughter Midori, but has no idea what Midori looks like. Ryuichi says that Solitary is married and Inui himself is only a student, but Inui says these little things don't matter when love is involved and tells Ryuichi that he wouldn't understand this as he hasn't felt love, after which he leaves. Ryuichi spaces out and doesn't even realize that Yuseda and the other kids have arrived. He tells Yuseda he just spaced out due to heat and asks him about Midori's father, and Yuseda tells him that he is an archaeologist and has been overseas for a long time, which makes Ryuichi think that Solitary is cheating on him with Inui. Ryuichi goes to his class and asks Kamitani's opinion on people cheating, but he says that it's between the two people, so he has no feelings towards it. Ryuichi thinks about how Inui told him that he hadn't felt love yet and realizes that he hasn't even had a crush on a girl all his life. He stares at a girl named Ashimaru, thinking about how people think she is cute, but he isn't attracted to her. Meanwhile, Ashimaru starts blushing, seeing Ryuichi staring at her. Ryuichi now asks Inomata for her opinion on adultery, and she says that such people should be punished by death. He asks her if she has had a crush on someone, but she tells him to back off and leaves, saying she isn't the type of person to do such things. In the daycare, Ryuichi sees that all the kids are ganging up on Inui and saves him from them. Solitary arrives and Inui is about to express his feelings to her when Midori starts crying, so Solitary tries to calm her down and tells her that her father will come home today. Inui can't believe what he is tearing as he believed that her husband was dead. Sawatari asks Inui what he was about to say, and he just tells her that he wants to pay her back for everything she does for her. So if she wants to have a date with her husband, he is willing to watch Midori for them. The kids are now playing a hero game, but Karen says she doesn't want to do so as they should all study magic to become a witch. Taka says that witches aren't real, but heroes are, which causes a fight between them. Taka shows her a picture of him with a Power Ranger and asks her to show proof that witches exist. She sits on a broom and tries to fly and fails to do so, but she doesn't give up and is determined to keep practicing. Yuzeda tells Ryuichi to go to his class as Karen will surely get exhausted and come back. Ryuichi asks Kamitani about his thoughts on this situation, and he tells Ryuichi just to tell her that witches aren't real, but Ryuichi says that you shouldn't shatter children's dreams. Inamata comes upon their conversation, and Ryuichi asks for her opinion, so she brings a bunch of documents showing what happened to witches in the past, but Ryuichi says he can't show this to Karen as it is too terrible, which causes Inamata to storm off as she says that it's obvious she doesn't understand how kids feel. Karen now jumps off from an elevated point, hoping to fly, but Ryuichi manages to stop her from getting hurt. The chairwoman arrives and seeing Karen cry because she can't fly, tells her it's too early for her to do so. Karen asks her if she can fly, but the chairwoman says she will leave the answer to her imagination. Karen stops crying and goes inside, where Taka says he is now willing to study magic with her to become a witch. Ryuichi and Kotaro are doing laundry in their backyard when Kotaro notices a young boy stuck in some bushes. Kotaro takes Ryuichi to him, but when Ryuichi tries to take him out, he slaps his hand away saying he doesn't need help. The boy looks like Nezu, so Ryuichi asks if he is his brother and the boy confirms it. Ryuichi leaves the boy alone, telling him that he should call for him when he is ready to get out. Ryuichi tries to call Nezu to inform him of the situation, but realizes that he doesn't have his number, so he calls Yaji to contact Nezu. Seeing Yaji arrive, Nezu's brother named Kichi tells Kotaro to run away because he knows Yaji's fondness for kids, but it's too late as Yaji starts poking Kotaro's cheeks. Inamata also arrives with Yaji and tells him to get away from Kotaro, otherwise she will call the police. Ryuichi is surprised that Yaji and Inamata are so close that when he called Yaji, Inamata also came with him. Inamata says they just happened to run into each other and that she would never be close with someone like Yaji. Inamata yells at Kichi, saying that his brother does a part-time job for them and still manages to be number 2 in grades in their school. Meanwhile, Kichi is causing problems for everyone else. Kichi starts crying and tells her that he just wanted to peek in to see them playing video games because he is from a poor family and can't afford the game. Kichi's brother Tsukichi also jumps into the same bush Kichi is in and says everyone in Kichi's school has the new video game except for him. Yaja tells them about the time in their elementary school when a new game came out that Nezu couldn't afford, so he offered to let him borrow his game, but Nezu refused, saying that if he wants the game, he will make it himself. Kichi says that he is now ready to get out of the bushes, so Ryuichi pulls him out, after which Kichi says that he will study games and make his own, just like his brother. Nezu arrives at the house and apologizes to Ryuichi for all the trouble his brother caused. He gives some gifts to Ryuichi and Inamata and gives Kichi the game he desires. Kishi asks if he made the game himself, which surprises Nezu, and he asks Yaji what he has been telling him. He tells them he bought it for cheap from a guy at work, and tells Yaji that half of the things he said to him as a child were lies. At the daycare, Ryuichi tells Yuseda that he won't be able to come to the daycare during his lunch break as he has to do his chemistry report. After he leaves, Yuseda sees that he has forgotten his lunch in the daycare, so Kotaro volunteers to deliver it to him. Yuseda gives him the lunchbox but worries about him going alone when he sees Inui and bribes him with a picture of Sawatari to ensure Kotaro reaches Ryuichi safely, but tells him to meddle as little as possible. Meanwhile, Kotaro reaches his first hurdle in this task as he comes across the stairs. The students offer to carry him up, but he tells them he will do it alone. He manages to get to half the stairs but bumps into some students, which causes the lunchbox to get blown away. As the lunch is about to fall, Inui saves it but is wearing a bag on his head, so Kotaro doesn't realize who he is. On the other hand, Ryuichi sees that he doesn't have his lunch with him when Ushimaru offers to give him her lunch. All the boys in the class get jealous of this and offer all their lunches to him so he doesn't eat Ushimaru's lunch. Kotaro now manages to reach Ryuichi's class, and his classmates say that he has eaten so much today that his stomach must be at its limit, but Ryuichi doesn't want Kotaro's effort to be in vain, so he goes with him to eat the lunch he brought. Ushimaru is having lunch in class with her friends when they ask her why she likes Ryuichi, causing her face to turn red as she tells them to stop saying such things as Ryuichi might hear them. Her friends say that Ryuichi has the best looks and personality in their class, so they get why she likes him. But they say there are rumors that he and Inamata are in a relationship. Inamata is walking past their class and hears them say she isn't the kind of person with romantic interests. Ryuichi also arrives and asks Inamata what she wants in their class, but she just yells at the girls and leaves. Kamitani now tells Ryuichi that the kids have attached stickers to his back, which makes Ryuichi embarrassed, but the girls think he is very cute. Inamata thinks about how she gets flustered every time she sees Ryuichi, and because of this, she can't even go to play with the kids in the daycare. She runs into Kirin and Kotaro, who who tell her they have come to play with her because she never comes to them. She says that she wants to but can't because of Ryuichi, which makes them think that she hates him, so they decide to show her all of Ryuichi's good points so she can make up with him. They take her to Ryuichi's class to show her how kind he is, but she says that as a caregiver, he is too laid back, which makes Kirin think that Inamata likes strict guys, so she asks Ryuichi to hit her. Otherwise, she will behave badly, but Kamitani hits her instead, making her cry. Inamata enters and asks them to stop because she doesn't hate Ryuichi, so Kirin asks if she likes her, which makes her blush as she tries to leave, but Ryuichi stops her, telling her that she has a sticker attached to her back, which makes everyone think how clueless Ryuichi is. The next day, Kosu brings Takuma to the daycare and tells them that Kazuma has caught a cold. Kosu says they are feeling very lonely because they have never been apart from each other, but Takuma seems unaffected by Kazuma's absence. Kosu leaves but tells them to look after Takuma, as even though he looks fine right now, he will definitely miss Kazuma as the day goes on. Ryuichi goes to his classroom thinking about how Takuma and Kazuma are twins and have been together even before birth, so they don't want to be away from each other even though they are polar opposites, with Takuma always smiling and Kazuma always crying. In the daycare, everyone is napping, but Takuma wakes up and starts looking for Kazuma. Kotaro sees him leaving the daycare and decides to follow him, but runs into Ryuichi and brings him to the school gate where Takuma is waiting for Kazuma. Ryuichi tells him to come back inside so they can call his mother to ask how Kazuma is, but she arrives at the door with Kazuma as Yuseda had called for her. Seeing Kazuma, Takuma starts crying, which makes Yuseda say that they are acting opposite of each other today, with Kazuma smiling and Takuma crying. Ryuichi gets a love letter from a mysterious person in his locker room. He opens it, but Inamata arrives, telling Ryuichi and his friends to stop cluttering the locker rooms. Ryuichi's friends take the letter out of his hands and start reading it aloud, which makes Oshimaru and Inamata sad as the person who sent the letter wrote that she loved him and asked him to meet her tomorrow behind the school building. Ryuichi can't believe that someone wrote such a letter to him as he leaves with his face getting red. Ryuichi goes to the daycare where Yuseda and the kids think he has a cold because of his red face. Kotaro even puts a blanket on him, but he tells them that he ran here, and that's why his face is red. At home, Seikawa prepares a special dinner to celebrate Ryuichi getting his first love letter. The chairwoman asks Ryuichi to take a bath and then rest because she thinks he is ill because of how red his face is. The next day as they go to school, Ryuichi thinks about how he can't date someone because he has to put Kotaro as his first priority, so he has to reject the girl. As he thinks about this, Kotaro leaves his hand and goes away from him. Meanwhile, Inamata and Oshimaru run into each other as they both are going to school early to see Ryuichi meet his mystery lover. Ryuichi runs towards them, asking if they have seen Kotaro, but they say no and start looking for him together. Kamitani arrives with Kotaro, who had gone to get a lemon for Ryuichi because he thought that Ryuichi was ill, so he wanted to make the same medicine as when Ryuichi caught a cold. Ryuichi now meets the girl who sent the letter and rejects her. Inamata and Oshimaru also see this, and Oshimaru says that it feels like they both got rejected by Ryuichi, but Inamata says he isn't interested in Ryuichi. All her face turns red. Kamitani and Taka call Ryuichi and Kotaro, asking them to accompany them to the festival. Ryuichi gets the chairwoman's permission, but she tells him not to waste money on stalls as they are usually scams. They meet with Kamitani and Taka and first go to eat cotton candy, after which Taka wants to try his luck in a lottery booth, but Ryuichi and Kamitani take them away as they know it's a scam. Taka now realizes he has lost the sword toy he brought to the festival and starts crying. They start looking for it and go to the lost and found where Yaji and Nezu are working, but they can't find Taka's sword. Kamitani tells him to give up on the sword and offers to take him to the lottery booth if he does so. At the lottery booth, Taka can't decide which string to pull, so Kotaro does it instead, and he pulls a sword exactly like that of Taka. The booth owner gives them a gaming station as an apology for taking Taka's sword, which Ryuichi gives to the chairwoman as a souvenir. Everyone goes to a beach to enjoy their summer vacations, but the kids are divided into two groups, with one enjoying the ocean and the other being scared of it. The kids' mothers tell everyone to enjoy the ocean as they will care for the kids, but Ryuichi can't do so as Kotaro is very scared of the ocean. Inamata also came with them but is wearing her school swimsuit, so the mothers say that they will buy a new swimsuit for her as a thank you for always making sweets for their kids. Ryuichi now tries to take Kotaro into the ocean to help him get rid of his fear, but as they go further into the ocean, a large wave comes and pushes them away, which further scares Kotaro, so they decide to just play in the sand with the other kids. They start making things out of sand but get sad when they get washed away by a wave. To cheer them up, Taka's mother brings juice for all of them, but Kotaro's juice gets spilled as he gets scared seeing Kamitani with seaweed on his head, so Ryuichi offers him his juice. Inamata arrives with her new swimsuit and the mothers ask what everyone thinks, but Ryuichi says that it looks cute because of the patterns and doesn't compliment Inamata, which makes the mothers think that they all must be at the age where they get flustered giving a compliment to a girl. But Inamata doesn't seem to care as she plays with the kids. The kids take their nap, which allows Ryuichi to finally enjoy the ocean, where he talks to Kamitani about how he came to the beach with Kotaro when he was a kid. But at that time, Kotaro wasn't afraid of the ocean, which makes Ryuichi think that he isn't enough to reassure Kotaro, but Kamitani hits him in the head and says that Kotaro was a baby at that time, so he didn't have a concept of being afraid. Meanwhile, Kotaro wakes up from his nap and tries to go toward Ryuichi, but gets scared as he reaches the ocean. He sees Ryuichi dive into the ocean and gets worried for him, so he musters up enough courage to jump into the ocean, but is blown back by the waves. One of the mothers carries him, trying to calm him down, but he keeps crying, which causes Ryuichi to rush back to the shore. In the daycare, Taka's mother leaves him with Ryuichi, but tells him that Taka ruined Kamitani's autographed baseball, due to which he has started ignoring Taka because he is very angry. But Taka keeps saying while crying that it wasn't his fault, and he did so because Kamitani doesn't play with him. She asks Ryuichi to talk to Kamitani, but Yuseda isn't present, so he can't leave the daycare when the chairwoman arrives and offers to look after the kids. Ryuichi talks to Kamitani, saying Kotaro ruins his things too, but he can't fight with him like a normal sibling because of the age difference. Kamitani says that Taka ruined his baseball intentionally and isn't even apologizing, but everyone expects him not to be angry because he's an adult. Meanwhile, in the daycare, the chairwoman takes Taka's sword that he treasures and threatens to break it so Taka can experience what Kamitani felt when he ruined his baseball. Ryuichi now takes Taka to Kamitani, where he apologizes to him while crying, but Kamitani also apologizes for not spending enough time with him. It's the day of the cultural festival at the school, and the babysitter club is serving juice with all the kids dressed up as fruits and vegetables. Karen's mother arrives, asks everyone for a favor, and has them dress up as girls because Karen's father is coming, and he doesn't trust any men. Karen's father now arrives and is taken away by how beautiful his daughter is looking, but afterward asks for the cute girls that are babysitting her. Yuseda, Ryuichi, and Kamitani dress up as girls, but Karen's father, Satoru, realizes that Yuseda is a man. He also sees that all the kids are boys except Midori, so he takes Karen and Midori away from them. Ryuichi and Kamitani try to stop him, and he listens to them as he believes they are girls, but when they take their wigs off, he is shocked. All the other children's parents now arrive, and the kids start serving them juice, but Karen is the only one who can do so successfully. Kotaro also somehow manages to get the juice to Ryuichi when Seikawa suddenly appears and applauds him. Seikawa tells Ryuichi and Kotaro that the chairwoman won't be able to make it today, so Seikawa takes a picture of everyone to show to the chairwoman. The next day, Taka and Kamitani's mother comes into the daycare and offers the kids to see some chicks hatching from their eggs. The kids get excited when she tells them they will hatch tomorrow, but they still take Ryuichi to see the eggs in the incubator. They all are disappointed seeing no chicks except for Kotaro, whose eyes are glued on the eggs. The next day, Kotaro makes Ryuichi come very early to see eggs hatching, and Taka's mother invites them in as they arrive just in time for the hatching. Ryuichi and Kotaro are amazed to see the eggs hatching, which makes her think that these two really are brothers. After class, all the kids come to see the chicks, but Taka is jealous that all the chicks are following Kotaro. He tries to play with them, but the chicks scatter around, with one going near the window where a cat is present. The cat jumps towards the chick, and Kotaro protects it with his body, but Kamitani stops the fat, and Kotaro gets praised by Ryuichi for being very brave. Ryuichi thinks he wants Kotaro to be this nice and kind even when he grows up. Yuseda has caught a cold and can't come to the daycare, so he asks Ryuichi to take care of the kids, but he has also asked Seikawa to help Ryuichi so he doesn't have to skip his classes. Ryuichi leaves the daycare with Seikawa in charge, but Seikawa feels that the kids are feeling nervous, so he asks them to provide him with their help as he cannot do this job alone. The kids get comfortable around Seikawa, but a problem arises when Midori's diaper leaks. Taka and Karen try to get the diapers in water, but they bump into each other and wet all the diapers. Seikawa calls Yuseda, telling him that there has been an emergency with Midori's diaper and asks if there are any spare diapers present, but Yuseda can only hear that an emergency has occurred regarding Midori before the call cuts off as Midori had slapped away Seikawa's phone into the water. Yuseda, even though he can barely walk, makes it to the school gate, where Ryuichi tries to get him to the nurse's room, but he says that they need to go to the daycare first. But when they arrive, they see that everyone is doing fine. Seikawa explains the situation to Yuseda and says he just made cloth diapers to solve the problem. The kids now tell Yuseda that they are doing ok, but want him to get better quickly so he can return, which makes Yuseda cry. Seikawa tells him Midori was most affected by his absence when Midori grabs his legs and says Yuseda's name as her first ever word. The next day, Ushimaru peeks in on the daycare when Inomata catches her, but Ushimaru says she was just looking for a ball. Inomata says she is willing to go with her to the daycare if she wants, but Ushimaru says it's better to look from afar as she doesn't get along with little kids. Ryuichi and the kids hear her talking, which makes Ushimaru think that her chances of having a romance with Ryuichi are over, but Inomata tells them that they are coming to the daycare so Ushimaru can learn to get along with the kids. As they go into the daycare, kids surround Ushimaru, and Ryuichi says that the kids seem to be comfortable around her, but when they start trying to touch her boobs, she gets uncomfortable, so Yuseda proposes that they all should go on a walk. As they do so, Ushimaru Oshimaru gets asked to hold Kotaro's hand, but when she sees snot coming from Kotaro's nose, she feels disgusted. Karen now gives her some bugs which cause her to pass out, and when she wakes up in the nurse's room, she says to Ryuichi that he must think low of her, but he tells her that he also doesn't like bugs and snot, it's just that he has got used to them. So he understands why she doesn't get along with kids. He tells her that when the little kids become separate individuals in a person's eyes, then you can truly love them. Uzeda brings the kids to her, who apologize for their behavior, and Karen gives her flowers. Oshimaru thanks them and says that she will again come to play with them. She now goes to Inamata, who is going home thinking about how she messed up everything, but Oshimaru hugs her from behind, saying that she loves her because she has given her a chance to change. Ryuichi gets a call from his friends asking him to come with them to the movies, but he is reluctant to do so as he doesn't want to leave Kotaro alone. Seikawa tells him not to worry as he will look after Kotaro, so Ryuichi should go to the movies. Ryuichi says goodbye to Kotaro and leaves, but feels bad for putting Kotaro's responsibility on Seikawa. On the other hand, Seikawa sees that Kotaro is sad due to Ryuichi's departure, so he offers to make him a snack, but Kotaro refuses. Now Seikawa tries to play with Kotaro, and this plan works as Kotaro's expression changes. Seikawa makes Ryuichi's face on a ball and throws it away for Kotaro to fetch. Kotaro goes into a library, and Seikawa explains how this library belonged to the son and daughter-in-law of the chairwoman. Kotaro takes a book asking Seikawa to read it to him, and as he does so, the chairwoman arrives, and seeing them in the library reminds her of her own son and his wife. December arrives, and the whole city is in the Christmas spirit, especially Kotaro, who is obsessed with Santa Claus. They reach the daycare where Taka tells Kotaro that he has met the real Santa Claus, but Uzeda tells him that he is a bad boy who doesn't eat his broccoli, so Santa isn't going to visit him this year, making Taka tear up. Kamitani hits Uzeda, saying he is just saying this to make Taka cry. Kamitani is now about to tell Taka that Santa Claus isn't real, but is stopped by Ryuichi, who says that he should not shatter Taka's dreams. Ryuichi thinks about dressing up as Santa for Kotaro, and his friends tell him to find cheap Santa suits on his phone. Ryuichi says that his mobile is broken, so they tell him to ask the chairwoman for one, but he says that the chairwoman is the one he should get a gift for. At home, Seikawa prepares a Christmas dinner, but he can't eat it with them because he has to do some work. The chairwoman also can't attend, so Ryuichi and Kotaro are left alone, which makes Kotaro sad. Ryuichi tries to go to the bathroom to dress up as Santa, but Kotaro follows him. Ryuichi thinks about how his father used to sneak away from them to dress up as Santa, and then the doorbell would ring and he would be standing there as Santa. The doorbell really starts ringing, and as he goes outside, he sees all his friends have come to spend Christmas with him. The chairwoman gives Kotaro a phone as Kamitani had told her that Ryuichi's phone was broken. Ryuichi thinks about how he felt sad opening the door and not seeing his parents, but the feeling of joy overcame that sadness after seeing everyone.